We are in a minute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you want to go?
Okay, so item number 2 is the discussion or interviews of at-large board member applicants. And I will turn it over to Donna Brazil because she coordinated most of this. And
so what we're going to do is we've read your letters of interest, and we're just really blown away by the quality of applicants that we have. It's really exciting, so all of you should think about running for school board. Anyway, so what we did, rather than to beleaguer the information you already gave us, we have only 3 questions that we're going to ask of each one of you, and we will take turns, the board members, to ask those questions, and we'll have you wait out there and call you in one at a time. When we get to the discussion phase of things amongst us, and Katie's our new special ed director starting, we will have those discussions. Because this is public and taped, we're not going to use your names in our discussion. You've all been assigned a number, and we will discuss candidate number 1, candidate number 4, just for privacy purposes. We're not trying to hide anything from anybody. It's just, I think, common courtesy and respect to do that. So, you want to do roll call?
So we'll dismiss.
Adjourn the special meeting or the work session.
Yep. So we're going to do that. We'll dismiss the 3 and interview. Okay.
Yep.
So
now?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
So where can the other ladies?
We can all sit in the cafeteria because there's nobody here but us. We don't even have a custodian for another 2 hours.
Wow.
So. Take cookies. Okay, so your earrings match my ring. We need to talk.
They're from Phoenix, or my mom's collection. So when my mom passed, I got all of her jewelry and whatever I had. So I love it.
Yep. Pawn shop special.
Well, hey,
It's not a bad place to go.
it's not a bad
I go all the time.
good stuff.
They have really good stuff.
Exactly.
Going to close this.
436. Adjourn.
Do you think I should put the camera on the person being interviewed, or do you guys want the camera on you?
Okay, so
She's got us, right? You've got the board on camera?
yeah.
Yeah, so,
Who do you want me to call in first?
well, we need to adjourn the work session so we can call to order the special.
I'm sorry.
We need to adjourn the work session so you can call to order the special
We
meeting.
adjourn this.
You're trying to write at the same time.
So that was. So we have to adjourn the work session?
Yeah.
Oh, they could have stayed in here for that. Okay, well, the you passed BOCES work session. Do I have a motion to adjourn the?
I make a motion to adjourn the work session.
Second.
Okay. Well, the work session part of the meeting is adjourned, and we call the special board
Have to
meeting.
vote on it.
Yes, vote. Roll call.
No, sorry. Brazil.
Aye.
Kimbrell. Aye. Patterson.
Aye.
I'm taking notes.
Here you go. I know, it's,
So we call the special board meeting, you pass special board meeting to order. So
We've already
roll call.
pledged.
Roll call. Brazil.
Aye. Here.
Kimbrell. Here.
Aye.
Patterson. Thank you.
Okay, we did the
Okay.
Pledge of Allegiance. Do we
Yep,
need to do it
no,
again?
we're good.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, Should we call in Ms. Fletcher first?
So for the record, item 4 is an action item. Letter A is to appoint the appointment of an at-large board member. So we will do the interviews and then we will take action. Correct?
Go for it.
Why do we have to have the work session first?
I don't know. Mercy did it. That's Mercy's. Hi, if you want to sit, if you want to pull up a chair and chat with us, whatever you're more comfortable doing.
Pull it up here.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
To start?
Go ahead.
Okay. So our first question is, do you have prior experience on an administrative board? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I'm actually on the board for Faithful Hearts Equine Learning Center right now, and I've been on there for 5 years and served as treasurer and chair.
Is that's everybody's okay with that? Do you have a chance to write?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Question 2.
Do you have experience in the classroom in any grade, pre-K to 12, and please tell us a little bit about it.
I don't have experience in those grades. I've always taught higher education, college, freshman, sophomore level. I did serve as a para for a very short time when I lived in Fort Collins, and that's really the only in school. I've worked with children a lot outside of school, but not in the classroom.
Okay.
Are we allowed to ask follow-up questions?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to know
This
how.
everybody.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it wouldn't apply. I was just wondering how long you've been in the region here from Fort Collins.
So my husband did his PhD in Fort Collins a long time ago. He graduated in 2007, and then we moved to Dallas for 9.5 years, and then moved back to Colorado to Woodland Park in 2016. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you have question 3?
Okay. Okay, do you have experience with special needs students? And please tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I am a mom to a special needs student. My daughter, she is a junior now at Woodland Park High School, has arthrogryposis and hearing loss. So we've had that journey with her in a personal level, ever since she was born. And then I have worked with lots of special needs students at the Equine Learning Center. We've had elementary, middle school, transition students all come out and do classes with us there. And I have been involved in those classes and helped teach those classes. And then also my short time of being a para in Fort Collins, I worked with a lot of the special needs classes there, and then just at different churches and things that we've attended, worked with students there.
Okay, to follow up with that on your letter of interest, you as you said, you stipulated that you worked with. So it would be therapeutic writing.
Yes.
And do you think that would help you as a board member, because you're not only a special needs mom, but you also have experience working as a community liaison?
Yeah, I think I do. It would, I would be coming at it from a little bit different perspective, because I realize like a lot of you guys are sort of inside the school building and, inside with the education, have a lot of community connections and know a lot of the families through our programs that we've done at Faithful Heart. So it would be a little bit different perspective of coming from, the community into the school rather than from a school based perspective.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that all the questions we have?
I have no more questions. Do you have any?
I don't think so right now.
Great, thanks.
All right,
You
thank
have
you.
the choice to stay,
Okay,
or if you need to get home.
okay. My
think that-
family is actually waiting for me up in Leadville to go camping, so I'm going to try to get on the road and get up there
Okay.
before dark.
That's
But-
perfectly understandable.
Okay.
Grab some cookies on the way. Feel
Oh,
free to.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Sugar
you.
and water. Can't get better than that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Enjoy your
Thanks.
trip.
Be careful.
Drive safely.
Thank you.
I feel like our agenda is really backwards. Because we should be discussing.
I didn't get to do that part.
I didn't think about it down here. Being a kinetic.
Freddie, you can sit over there in the distance, or you can have a seat, whatever works best for you. Whatever you're more comfortable doing.
I'll sit here.
Okay.
Okay.
Please
Sure.
do.
Am I in the way of anything?
No.
Can I block the camera with my back?
Well, she'll tell
Sorry.
you if you're in the way.
Okay.
Okay, we have 3 questions that we're asking because the letters that we received from everybody was so comprehensive. So we didn't feel like we needed to beat it to death. So I will ask the first question, and that is, do you have prior experience on an administrative board? And please tell us a little bit about that.
Prior experience on an administrative board? Wow. The 30 years that I spent in Florida, in Tampa, I worked for the school district there. And I was a career and technical education career specialist. So the overall program, and Tampa's schools are the 7th largest in the nation. So we had, 52 high schools and 89 middle schools and 120 elementary schools, all in one district. So that kind of gives you a picture. So career and technical education had to have advisory boards for each of their programs, for culinary, for tech ed, agriculture, and I spent a lot of my time on those boards. I don't know if that's administrative or not, but it oversaw, is that a word? It oversaw each of the programs in all of the high schools that had to do with career and technical education, which is what my master's is in as well as CTE. Normally, I was the recorder, the secretary, that person for most of those. But we made the decisions on a daily basis of who the advisory board members would be from the business community, who would be coming in to do training for the teachers. So I feel like it was pretty high stress, high intensity work that absolutely affected the kids in a positive way, which is why I did it.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
No, you're good.
Do you have experience in a classroom in any grade, PK-12? Please tell us a little bit about that. I sort of feel like you just went over a little bit about that, so if you want to elaborate in any way, we are asking the same questions to all candidates.
Okay. Because I was a career specialist for the first 15 years in Tampa, we were in middle school and high school. We didn't drift down into the elementary. And then I joined the communications and marketing team for that school district. And so I was in schools pre-K schools are, we had community schools that were pre-K through 12th grade, but it wasn't until we moved to Florida and I retired that I joined the reading team at a little elementary school in Warsaw, Indiana, and my students were pre-K through 5th grade. Every day I saw 6 to 8 groups of 4 from all of the grades, including the students who had IEPs, 504s, were bilingual or monolingual, some of them still. So my teaching experience was working as a reading coach for that grade level, that pre-K through kindergarten. Best 5 years of my life. Just the difference between a gigantic machine and a little teeny tiny
Like Warsaw,
rural
Indiana,
school
tiny.
district like
Yeah.
Woodland, like Cripple Creek.
Yeah.
Best 5 years ever.
I know exactly where that is. I come from Indiana, so
Yeah?
I'm born and raised. So.
Really?
So,
Where
yeah.
at?
A little town called Selma, outside of Muncie.
Wow.
So I know, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I miss it. I'm born and raised here, so I'm glad to be home, but that was like the icing on the cake of my career, you know, it was wonderful.
That's a nice way to end.
Well, third question. I was like,
Right.
no, I was like, people don't even know where Warsaw is.
Okay, my question is, do you have experience with special needs students? And please tell us a little bit about that.
The most experience that I have with them was in my reading groups. We were lucky as reading coaches, we got to take all of the training that the teachers did. So when there was any ESE, SPED training, the trauma training, all of those, we were lucky enough to be included. So when I had my reading groups that had 4 children in it, could be 2 were ESE kids. I keep saying ESE because that's the term we used down there. Sorry. The coping strategies, the classroom management strategies that we had learned in our trainings, I used every single day. Granted, I didn't have 25 students in my group. I'd have 4 at a time. But when you've got 2 out of 4 in there that have an exceptionality, you are grabbing and grasping for anything that works with them.
Okay, so a follow-up question would be, what are your thoughts on integrating as much as you could the special needs into the regular classroom as they could tolerate it? Do you think that is beneficial for them to be in the normal classes?
I have always felt very strongly that mainstreaming is the best thing for most of the kids, not all of them. And I've been where pull out, and in one school that I worked at, and I was a paraprofessional, they did all of their specials in the classroom. There was no pull-out ever of any kind. So the bilingual aide was in there with her kids. I was in there with my Title I kids. The SLD pull-out person was in there, and the teacher continued to teach the whole time. And I probably look back and think that was the most successful effort I've ever seen to totally mainstream, because all of those support systems were in there with the kids. And this was at a school where 90% of the students were from migrant families, and so the first 6 weeks they spent in what do they call it?
Immersion.
Yes, an immersion classroom, K through 6, with a teacher just teaching basic English. Then they went into the classroom. And so I've seen mainstreaming. I've seen the resource teachers that pull them out for certain things and put them back in. And I just can always, always feel that putting them in the classroom, if at all possible, is the best possible thing for them. It's just very tricky.
Thank you. So true. So true. No. Thank
I
you.
don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Freddie, you have the option to stay, or if you have something else you need to do, go ahead, and we will notify everybody
Okay,
tomorrow or
okay.
We
tonight.
have cookies or water if you want to take one.
I'm going to call my brother and see if he wants to go to dinner with me.
There you go.
He works at
Sugar
Chamonix.
fix.
So we'll see.
okay.
And I didn't get to meet you
I'm
before.
Cassie Kimbrell.
I can, and I have met you all, but very briefly at a school board meeting. So
Thank you,
Okay,
ladies.
see ya. I want to go to dinner.
Yeah, I'm hungry. So let's just talk about food.
I have to just on the flies. Have a cookie.
I'm gluten free, so it keeps me away from it
Don't kill
too.
me. Couldn't do that. You're like really bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can sit there. You can sit anywhere you want, wherever you're comfortable.
Hi.
So, Amy, each of us will ask a question with some follow-up if you say something that we want a little more clarification on. And that's it. Pretty simple.
Thank you for being here.
You got to explore a little more of the county.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've been having a good time.
All right, good. Okay, so the first question is, do you have prior experience on an administrative board? And tell us a little bit about that.
So my name is Dr. Amy Cantor. I'm serving overseas in Okinawa. I sat on several councils and committees, ranging from the Regional Advisory Council, the Okinawa District Advisory Council, and I was the chair of the School Advisory Council for Dodea Pacific South. In addition to that, I was also, and I might be bleeding over here a little bit and other things, but I was, for special needs advocacy, I was the special needs advocate for the island of Okinawa. So I worked with all the families regardless of branch, but I was also the Exceptional Family Member Program Coordinator for the Marine Corps Command and the Direct Advisor for the Commander of Marine Corps Base Camp Butler and the Deputy Commander of Marine Corps, the installation basically. So half of the Marine Corps command is about, we're talking thousands of Marines. But I was their direct advisor regarding any families that had children with special needs. So I, as a representative for Dodea and for the command, I would assist in any cases involving families that had a child with special needs. If they had special medical or educational needs, I would work with those resources to determine if we had the resources to support this child. And if not, I worked with the command to change our policy. So instead of separating the family, we had compassionate reassignment for that family.
Yes, to do that.
So you also have policy experience in that sounds too. So
Yes.
working on policy boards. Okay. Just to follow up that question, was it a passion of yours to be with children with special needs, or was it just something you're assigned to do, or like how did
It's
that
a
fall
passion
in?
of mine. So I started off as a volunteer working for the original deputy commander of Mickey Pack, and then I was brought on as a full-time GS employee, and then I took on an additional duty as the EFMP coordinator for the command since I did have a specialization in it. I've been an educator for years, school supervisor for a while, and then I've also trained ABA, and then I have 2 children with autism.
Okay, so there's the mom component too. Okay. And second question, this you can, I guess, elaborate. We're asking all the same questions to everyone, so you might have already touched on it, but do you have experience in a classroom in any grade, PK-12? Please tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So I've taught elementary education is my primary specialization. That's what I got my original certification in. I've taught at a variety of schools from public, private, charter schools. I actually started as a physical education teacher. I taught physical education at special needs schools and had specialized training. And then I was a general education teacher for kindergarten through 5th grade at a variety of schools. As a military spouse, I've taught at a variety of places. And I've also been a supervisor of schools and in charge of curriculum instruction. I've done trainings. I actually developed and published my own teaching methodology. And I spoke at the University of Cambridge, where I got my works published by the London International Conference on Education. And then I've partnered with the state of Virginia and been able to do professional development classes with the teachers on various counties that were close to where I taught. It was really cool. They agreed that each teacher that participated in the training that I gave would get continuing education credits for it, and the community really came together, and the businesses supported us, and I was able to offer like free breakfast, lunch, gift certificates, all kinds of stuff. So,
Any follow-up questions to that?
No, I do not.
Either.
Yeah, I do. So your spouse was active duty?
he is active
military?
duty, but he's retiring in the area.
Thank you for his service. And so it sounds like you got a liaison for the community as a spouse of active duty. So how much of that time did you like spend out in to reach out to the community to educate them or bring families with special needs together?
So I was actually in charge. I started my own Facebook group. Facebook is how everyone communicates in Okinawa. Like, that's how you get the word out for anything. When I first got to Okinawa, there was no way for special needs families to get together or share information. Like, that doesn't exist. The EFMP program was dismantled to the point that there was one program manager for the entire island from the Marine Corps. So I talked to the general, because I was watching their marketing for different programs. I don't know if you're familiar with MCCS, Marine Corps Community Services Program. They operate all of the activities and resources for Marine Corps families on bases.
Okay.
And so I was watching their marketing on different services they provided, and a lot of that was only targeted towards neurotypical families. So I emailed the general. I said, "Hi, special needs family here. I'm noticing there's a deficit in the area, and I'd like to help. Here's what I'm seeing we're having some issues with. Here's what we can do to remedy this." So I immediately started working with Colonel Hammond, who was deputy commander at the time, and I sat on the panel as a member of their CARES group. And CARES basically links every resource on the island. We're talking like Food Pantry, American Red Cross, MCCS, AFES, all of these different departments that provide a service to military families on the island of Okinawa. So I was there as a representative for special needs family at EFMP. So I spoke on behalf of the EFMP program, and I think I lost my train of thought. Where was I?
I hate when they do that. I'm right there with you.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh yes, working with the community. So I work directly with stakeholders at the CARES meeting. I work directly with stakeholders when I was in my capacity with DODEA. And then my Facebook group, I had about 150 families on that Facebook group. And I basically utilized that Facebook group as an opportunity for them to message me directly with any questions or concerns that they had. But it was also a way for me to channel all resources directly to this one site. And then I was also able to work with the colonel to work with the head of NCCS, who was in charge of the EFMP program. And we actually got a full staff, including someone just solely in charge of activities and events. And we were really, it was amazing. Like, you should have seen the turnaround we had by the time I left that island. We were doing events, like multiple events every month. And then I was able to link with the hospital and get out information on, dental programs. Hey, if you have a special needs child with autism and they struggle with, the regular dental program, this doctor can see you at this hospital and they can get you what you need, I actually did a professional development and training in partnership with Educational Development and Intervention Services, so EDIS. Dr. Moon is the head of that on Okinawa. He and I partnered up with the occupational therapists, and we created a combined training for the MCCS youth sports and their aquatics managers and supervisors, and we completely revamped their program so that they understood special needs, what the diagnoses were that were on the island, how to provide services, how to communicate with families, things like that. And then we revamped their marketing efforts to show and advertise to families that they were open and available to every child at every level, because children with autism are especially drawn to water. So swim lessons are really important, especially living where you're within a few hundred feet of water at any time. That was amazing, and they recorded that, did a whole story out. It was really cool, because the colonel was really into, like, showing that we did it, showing that it continued to be done, and wanted to keep the ball rolling on that. And I established the EFMP task force that meets quarterly. So the colonel, who's the deputy commander, meets with the MCCS hospital and EDIS sure everyone's on the same page providing exceptional service.
Well,
Okay, so I think you pretty much covered this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you have experience with special needs students, and tell us a little more about that?
Yes. So as a classroom teacher, I had students of all walks of life. I actually gravitated especially towards my neurodiverse students, that I would have the principal assign them to me because I was able to establish a relationship that was just different. You know, a relationship is number one when it comes with students and teachers. When you have that ability to establish that lifeline, that relationship there, the school year just goes so much better. You know, so many students with special needs, you know, suffer from that labeled child syndrome where, you know, they are told they're a certain way, they have a certain label, and instead of realizing what they can be, they act what they're told they are.
focus on the labels.
Yes. So I wanted to change that for my students, which is why I developed my different teaching methodology. We really changed the game with that program. And that was actually, I developed that, and it was continued on through a large private company in Northern Virginia who spread that across their primary schools.
Okay. I have no other questions, but I have a great idea rolling in my head.
I know.
Can I do a follow-up question or one question?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it sounds like you have this abundance of spectrum. And I guess my question is that we are less, probably Cripple Creek, Woodland Park at this time are 2,000 students. And it's really important to work together with the BOCES director and collaborate. So do you think that would be the 2,000 students would hold your interest, and you'd be able to work together with the BOCES director, because she's the
Boss.
She's the alpha and the omega, and holds the BOCES together, working between the two districts. So I don't know if that was a question. And that's all I have.
That's it. That's all I have. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you.
We have cookies and water if you want. You are more than welcome to stay, or we could always, if you want to leave, and we can call you and let you know what we're doing.
There are no calories over 9,000 feet. You're at 94.94. Just saying.
So should I stay there? Like, is it?
Yes, I mean,
You
I
can if you want.
yeah.
You don't feel you have
I
to.
don't think everyone's staying, but it's really up to you. You're more than welcome to stay. So.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We should do a grant-funded liaison.
So is this one going to take the principal's position? Is anyone coming in?
I can't talk about that.
Is this the hot seat?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
They kept it warm for you.
And don't let me get out without my purse, because I left it over there when they first came to sit.
I did not see that.
I'm
I was
afraid
gonna,
I'll just like.
I thought you were going to
jump
talk
up and walk
about
out.
don't let you leave without the cookies and water, but you can take both if you like.
So Holly, we have 3 questions,
Okay.
and we will each ask a question, and if there's follow-up that needs to happen, we'll do that too. So the first question is, do you have prior experience on an administrative board? And please tell us a little about that.
I do, and I think the most relevant one was the Larimer County BOCES, but I wasn't on the board of directors. I was the superintendent's designee to the advisory committee. And the Larimer County BOCES is, it is focused on career and technical education at Front Range Community College for the surrounding high schools. So it wasn't a special ed focused BOCES. It was focused on high school level programs in the college. But then I've also, I was responsible for the Career and Technical Education Advisory Committee for Cooter School District when I was the Career and Tech Director there. And then I think those are probably the two most relevant things in terms of on advisory boards. I was also on the Fort Collins Community Development Block Grant Commission. So that was a similar advisory committee to the city council on how to spend block grant funds for the benefit of the community.
So it's community-wide, not just school.
Right, that's right. And I served as chair on that for part of my tenure there. Started off as a member. And then I was a member also of the Larimer County Workforce Investment Board, and that was as an education representative on a citywide business focused board. So those are some of the boards I served on.
Okay.
Any follow-up questions? Before I continue? Okay. Do you have experience in the classroom in any grade, PK-12? Please tell us a little bit about that.
I do. I was a special education teacher and an art teacher, mostly special education. I only taught art for 1 year in Oklahoma. I taught special education for 11 years at the middle school and then at the high school level. At the high school in Fort Collins, I was what they called the moderate needs teacher. And these were students, that program, I guess, was out of sync with the state because moderate needs at the state level was seen more as students with milder disabilities. And these were students, in fact, all of them had pretty serious disabilities. And the first year I started there, all 3 high schools were undergoing renovation. And because of the renovation, they decided that all of the students who used wheelchairs would come to Rocky Mountain High School, and they were in my program. So I had 14 students who used wheelchairs and had various levels of physical disability. Some had some intellectual disabilities as well. And it was a challenging year because Rocky was also undergoing construction. So we'd head out to class in the morning, and sometimes we'd hit these yellow tapes. It's like, you can't get there from here. We'd have to go find another way to get to class.
Get them to a ramp to get through.
Yeah, that was real well thought out.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So that was an interesting first year, but then I did that for 3 years, and then I was the what we called the ACE coordinator, Alternative Cooperative Education teacher, there at Rocky. So I worked with students who were trying to get job ready, wanted to get out into the community and work. And I also worked with the university. I collaborated with them on a entrepreneurship class for students with emotional disabilities, and we, as a part of that class, we planned and implemented a small business as a class. So Rocky was on a block system, so every 9 weeks the class would change, and every 9 weeks we'd do a little business and see if we could learn about entrepreneurship and be profitable. So those were I think that sums up my most recent special ed teaching. But I did also teach special education in McCall, Idaho, which is a very small rural school in the mountains. So I taught at the high school and then for half a day, and then I drive over to the middle school, which was in a nearby town.
Any
nothing to follow up on that.
Okay. Okay, my question is, do you have experience? I have to ask a question. I've asked everybody else a question, so we already know your answer, but, okay. Do you have experience with special needs students? And please tell us a little bit more about it.
And I do have lots of experience as a teacher. I love teaching. I became an administrator, assistant principal and a high school principal because I felt like I could have a really profound effect on the students in my class, but it was always a small class. And as an administrator, I could have a bigger impact on creating an environment where all students could be successful by supporting the teachers, the students, and the parents as an administrator. And I thought of one, I can think of one story as an administrator. We had a young lady who was getting in trouble when she was riding the bus. And the bus driver wanted to kick her off the bus. And I was assistant principal at Rocky. And this gal had a lot of sensory issues and
Too noisy. It was too noisy.
and she was maybe close to, I don't know if she was diagnosed as autistic, but she had a lot of sensory issues. She couldn't wear shoes because it was too hard on her feet. And she had a little part of her vision wasn't really good. Well, instead of kicking her off the bus, we got together and I heard what her problems were, what was happening, and it turned out that she was sitting with a paraprofessional at sort of near the back of the bus. And up at the front of the bus were some kids who were placed up there because of their behavior. You have to sit by the bus driver. But they would still cut up, they would still be disruptive. And so when she walked by them to get off the bus, she'd smack them. she was disciplining those other students. So by having her, just having her move to right behind the bus driver and keeping those kids behind her, so she didn't feel like she had to deal with it, it solved the problem. So, sometimes you have to figure it out. It's not obvious, but that's one story.
Good.
Any other follow-up questions?
Any follow-ups?
No, got it.
We're good. You don't have to stay if you don't want to. We will notify everybody either tonight or tomorrow morning as
By
to.
email?
No, probably call.
Oh, you.
Yeah, I like that better than the cold stuff.
Well, thank you.
So we'll discuss. So if you need to head on home, go ahead. If you want to hang out,
I
you're welcome
don't
to do
need
that.
to go. Is it awkward if I stay?
No,
Is that okay?
no, but we're gonna
I won't know who's who anyway.
have our discussion though probably in private.
Oh, right, okay.
So
well, I can just go.
But you have to take cookies so
I-
that you don't eat
And
them.
your purse.
And your purse.
Thank you for having
And your water.
You are welcome to stay. It's all public.
Yeah,
The
you
discussion
can
will
sit
be
there if you
public,
want.
So
Okay, yeah. It's your choice. Nice evening.
that it is still a public meeting
Yep.
and it will be discussed as such.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for applying.
We're just tickled.
Great applicant.
Great applicants. Very good. But your choice, you can come, go, leave, whatever.
See who's out there and we can call them. Yeah. See if there's anyone out there, we can call them back in. If they choose.
If you want to stay, Holly, you're welcome to.
And make sure we're
Mhm.
transparent.
Yep.
And I guess the only reason I'd like to stay is if I have the opportunity to join the board, it would be interesting to just,
This is all we'll be talking about.
Yeah.
Nothing exciting.
well,
This
then
is
I
not a
can
regular
help you out,
meeting.
And I appreciate your time.
Okay,
Thank
thanks. Be
you.
careful. I gotta do my scores
I
here.
know I need to do these scores.
Really close. All of them.
I was debating, but.
It's hard, huh? Yeah, I've got ties. You too?
Probably a few I have to still add up, but it's really tough.
Katie? Yes. Are you aware of any grant opportunities for a liaison or a advocate trainer?
I'm not aware of any, but I can look into it.
My brain is spinning. That might help. Maybe Shannon knows. Is she on?
Yeah, I think so.
Shannon?
Shannon, are you there?
She doesn't love it.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Donna had a question.
I have a question. Are you aware of any grant opportunities for funding and training liaisons and advocates like what you do?
I believe there's some grants. I could give you a bigger, maybe a list or something like that if you give me some time to look into it. I've heard of grants, but I can't tell you absolutely.
Okay.
I can ask the ARC of the Pikes Peak region. Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah.
Yes, Pete.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them.
Okay. I'm thinking of something.
Yeah.
That's the smoke smell. Okay. I have 3 13s and a 12.
I have 2 13s, 1 14, and 1 15.
We'll see how you are.
I have 8, a 12, a 13, and a 15.
Okay.
I have an 11, 14, 10, and 15.
Wow, that's interesting.
I know, isn't it? Some of it was hard.
Yeah.
I mean, some other factors.
Right.
So I'm just going to say that we're going into the discussion part of this.
Yes.
Okay. For
Do you want
For
another piece
action.
of paper to write on?
I got those, and I'm taking notes here too.
Okay. All right.
Actually, go ahead and give it to me. I forgot my notebook on the way out.
I got
So you're
got
writing
that
down
too.
our scores? Is that what?
Huh?
No,
Is that
I'm
what you're
just
doing?
I'm just writing the notes. I don't know if I need to write here the scores because I don't know.
Okay.
But just discussion portion.
Let's start with number 2. You ready? I don't want your hand to fall out.
So for number 2, should I just say
Yeah.
the score or
Mhm.
some of my thoughts? I don't know.
Yeah.
Number 2 I had was 14. I thought just with years of experience in working in large school districts as well as like many boards, especially training with IEPs, working with kids that are bilingual, different school districts, so, having that variety of experiences as
Yeah,
well,
I agree.
not just in small and in big, so would be common with rural, and also what stood out was a lot of the training with like just coaching, the trauma training, and the special ed training, and so just having that experience I thought was really good, so. Any
Okay.
thoughts?
I've had the same thoughts on that. It was diverse, and both of these districts are very diverse.
Yeah.
It's totally different populations in a lot of ways. Suzanne?
I had community leadership and middle school and high school administration team in pre-K up to 5th grade for classroom experience. And the hands-on, the paraprofessional and the hands-on experience.
So my score was an 11.
Okay.
And as far as the first question, I scored a 3 because it was not a lot of, to me it seemed more like secretarial duties as opposed to the actual board
Okay.
involvement,
Mhm.
I guess. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Decision making. For the second question, I had a 4, and I think because most of that was around like, it seemed career specialist, interventionist, paraprofessional,
Mhm.
you know, experience. And then for question 3, I put a 4, just based off of not having the teaching experience. So, it's a paraprofessional
Okay.
experience.
Alrighty.
I'm just writing down all the scores.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, I got them already. I got 11. You have
Oh, I had 13.
13, yeah. So I'm good. I'm following.
I don't know how you do that.
I'm working. I don't know either.
Okay, let's talk about candidate number 1 next. My score was a 13. So
Mine was a 13 as well.
my total score was a 13.
Same.
For 1?
Yep.
I had a 10.
Okay.
I really, really liked the fact there was a lot of community type experience, knowing our families and knowing, you know, not just the hands-on, but having relationships already in place, because sometimes, as you know, people don't get fully verified information, and it would be really helpful to have someone that's out and about that says, oh no, this is what really goes on. Because there's a misconception out there that this board has a lot of juice, and we really don't.
No. But I've actually heard of this person before in their community liaisonship, so it's something that's, just around our district I've heard about. And so, like you said, I would just piggyback on your comments and, having that experience. Though didn't have did have some board experience as well, but as treasurer and chair, I think we probably could have elaborated on it a little bit. But 5 years about it. So, do you have any other?
So I had 5 years experience on an administrative board and personal experience with a special needs child. And
Longevity.
children, a child in the school district.
So I scored a candidate a 10, and because I felt like the experience on administrative boards was limited, just the experience piece. There wasn't a lot of classroom teaching experience.
Right.
Again, I also saw that individual as having great community involvement as well, and being a mom, that brings a good perspective to this role, just also having that experience with your own children, but also having a lot of experience with students within the community and what she does. I appreciated that. Very involved.
Anything else? Good. Okay, let's do candidate number 4. I had a 13 because I was high. I believe.
I had 13 as well, so okay. a lot of community experience, also a lot of experience. There's in the classroom as well. A lot of stories. I mean, it's been within school systems, and so understand some of those problem solvings and trying to be creative, I thought was really smart. So it also seems to work with the community as well in certain aspects in prior situations where they live. So
I like that it's, and this particularly impacts Katie, the perspective from administrative plus classroom, because they're totally different and decisions are made differently when you're sitting next to a kid than if you've got a parent screaming in your ear. And, even though you get people complaining, you tell them to work their way up the ladder, sometimes that doesn't always happen. And I'm sure all of us have gotten calls from parents who, you have to have that conversation and say you need to start with the teacher and work your way up. And I like the fact that this person's been on all sides of that.
Mine was pretty similar. Working as a sped teacher and large districts as well as small, and assistant principal and principal, and to administrator, and working to be an advocate for the integration of special needs into the community, an avenue.
Right, approachable.
the diverse experience piece as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with all of that, but something that really stood out to me is that rural piece, rural education.
What was your score?
15.
Okay, and candidate number 3. You want to start guessing? Out of 12.
Out of 15. Okay. Where do I start? A lot of experience in teaching as well as curriculums. Very passionate, especially the mom piece as well. Has the community outreach as well, and so I thought that was really good at just being able to bridge the gap between the community with the kids that have special needs, and also the health piece. I just thought there was a lot of good community development within that, especially in a place that you might not be very familiar in, and so I thought that was really important. Creating, developing different programs or curriculum within that, being able to teach and public speak, and so sitting on various different boards as well as far as the administrative piece, and so I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, mine is similar. Special needs advocacy, worked at a policy board, volunteer in the community, elementary teacher, community experience, a developer, to, I think, someone that could look outside the box, and I think has a world view that could that could bring ideas and and could advocate some of those ideas into a smaller community.
Yeah, this candidate was the only one who brought up policies, and like doing that, especially some of the policies. I thought that was really interesting.
Katie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that, kind of of a rural community, not necessarily having that experience, but kind of looking at bigger systems and just having that from a different area, bringing that experience, I think is really valuable. Which are 14.
What about you?
Did you get yours?
I got her score.
Because you didn't ask me yet.
I did. I said, oh, what about you? I got your score. I did.
I agree with all of that. My concern is that this might not be enough of a challenge. And, you know, the logistics are, this board could be an almost 100% turnover in November. And, you know, I've got an education degree and a special ed degree, but we don't have any. You've got some, right, Suzanne?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you don't.
Developmental
I am the
disability.
mom.
She has a daughter.
I'm the
Yeah,
mom
she's
of
got a
a-
killer
Yes.
daughter, yeah.
A
So
husband
I'm
with
wondering,
disability, and then a mom of disabilities. So.
I'm just, I don't know. I think I'm thinking might be bored with the role, or it could be the president. And I'm not committed either way on it. So I could go either way with it on that situation.
I thought this candidate would have a lot to offer, and could maybe even be, especially in the administrative part, and so being, you know, someone that could be the chair and
Right.
leading and having ideas that would be brought to the table more so.
And it'd be good support for you.
Yes.
Because you're biting off a big
And
chunk.
I'm thinking about that a lot. So.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think the advantage is sometimes we need to look outside the community and see, look at things that other leaders have accomplished and what works, and to model success. And I think looking at a bigger picture can be refreshing for the
And
board.
as well as someone that's a mom, you know, I think there's no boredom when you're passionate about this, despite how much education or experience you have or not. It's, you know, that drives everything as a mom and a parent. And so, yeah, bringing ideas to the table and someone, it's a good thing. And so, like, just piggybacking off what you said.
So someone want to make a motion?
Well,
As to who knows?
I added all the scores up. I don't know if that
Oh,
matters.
very close.
They're all very close. Do you want me to share the scores? Or how do you guys want to?
Well, I usually don't make the motion, so.
Well,
I
we're still
don't-
in discussion.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not-
don't-
I'm
I
not
don't
asking
think
for a
it's
motion.
necessary.
Okay.
If everybody's having a feeling, make a motion.
Okay.
We can't go wrong. I'm sorry.
Yes.
We could have put all these up on the wall and thrown a dart and
No,
then
I know.
said on.
I haven't. You're good.
I'm serious.
No, I mean, the fact that we had candidates, I feel like everyone wanted to be here. They applied. There's a reason for it. They're passionate for it. So I'm very grateful for all of that. And I'll go ahead and make an motion. We can vote yea or nay.
Can I just say one thing before we make a
Uh-huh.
motion? That I think every one of these ladies has a prominent role in our community and could help this board from a community level, the school level.
That's why I'm
And-
asking about the grant-funded position.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yes, I mean, just
Way my brain
being on the
goes.
board isn't all it's cracked up to be sometimes. And I think some good women behind us in the community is a really strong, important position.
And I also would encourage that, you know, if they did not get this role next time, this is an at-large position, and to
Run for school
apply, run
board.
for school board, and it's great. So
There's going to be a lot of
Run
school
for
board
school
openings this year, just saying.
there are. So I'll make a motion to, of the appointment of the at-large board member for candidate 3.
Okay, I'll second that.
So I need to write my notes down.
And then I'll collect all your things and have them shredded.
Do you have to? Because those are my notes.
So we
I'll need it after.
we have a motion and a second, so we need a roll call.
Roll call. Donna Brazil?
Aye.
Okay, hold on, let me take my notes as secretary. Donna. CK. Aye. Sue Patterson.
Aye.
Yeah, we do.
So the motion
Motion carries.
motion carries.
Yeah, we do, because it's hard to like speak.
I know, I can't do that.
I'm just,
Can't do it. Okay, so, Amy, you have a job. I have an idea. I'm serious, and I'm going to go that route.
Yes, you got an ultimatum. Yes.
I'm on a mission.
okay, so wait a minute.
So this board has unanimously,
Wait.
voted in, is it
Amy Carter.
Cantor? Cantor.
So
Congratulations.
our next meeting is June something.
Yes, so the position will be available July 1st. And we welcome you to come to our, we usually have quarterly meetings.
Mhm.
And June 3rd, no, that's when.
I have it somewhere.
June 24th will be our next
Please don't tell me it's
board
July
meeting.
1st.
And it's the last board meeting of the 24-25 school year, which will mostly entails our budget, correct?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
have we determined?
And it's a virtual meeting, so you'll have to.
It's a virtual meeting.
So just so.
Anyone can join, of course, virtually, and
Do we have a role for
we will,
July.
we will let, you can meet with me if you'd like. We can, July 1st or the effective date. And we've never done this before. We've never had an at-large, but we've changed our administrative units and Cripple Creek, with Woodland Park. And so bear with us. This is all new to us.
This is a whole changeover as of July 1.
Yes.
So we become a 2-unit AU. What ends up happening is we finally have 2 board members from the Cripple Creek Board. We have 2 from the Woodland Park Board, and you're the 5th person.
Right, because
That's
we
the
have
at-large
a
person.
5-member board.
What you need to be fully aware of is in November, it's election season, and my seat is up, your seat is up, and Suzanne's seat is up. So you could end up with a board, sorry, that's all brand new, for the most part.
But we could always be there to help in any way, even after. And she will as well, so. Katie would be there to help with any questions.
Yeah,
We could meet with,
it's a lot to put out. Okay, so
fill you in on,
Suzanne, I need your water
Oh.
papers.
Hold on,
you need one?
hold on. Motion to adjourn? Oh, that
I'll
was
make
what the
it.
president said, sorry.
Okay, well, hang on, are we done? Okay, motion to adjourn.
I know it's been a day. I'll second that.
All right, so Kimball,
Roll call.
roll call. Hold on. Donna, Brazil,
Aye. No, I want to stay here all night.
Kimbrell, aye. Patterson,
Aye.
all right.
This meeting is adjourned.
Mhm. And I need everything but your notes so I can shred them.
Yeah, these are just because I took them for the